The unhealed men out there who are toxic and at their worst dangerous are often supported by other women. And it's one of the most sad and disappointing things about this phenomenon. But I shared a video that I'll post down below a couple days ago about an experience I had at the pool at the resort my husband and I were staying at. There was a man who was obviously very insecure and unhealed and damaged and was trying to dive into the pool next to me and do cannonballs. This is a grown-ass man, to get me wet. And no matter how uncomfortable I was and annoyed, he kept doing it over and over again to antagonize me. He wanted my attention. My point of sharing that story is to let other women know that men will often resort to really toxic strategies to get your feminine energy. If they can't get it in a positive light, which this man obviously was not going to get any of my positive energy, he would resort to negativity to try to bother me to get my energy. And oftentimes women will support the men in their lives that do this, or support other men in antagonizing other women. What was really interesting and disheartening about the situation at the pool is that this man's wife and his friend's wife were all egging on the men and the boys in the family to dive into the pool and cannonball to splash us. They were cheering them on like at a football game. You will often see women that have been severely abused by men abuse other women and be awful. In my last friend group, there was a friend that I had had for like 20 years. I had known her for a really long time. I had always been there for her. She was in a really bad marriage with an abusive man, and I was there for her. I was the friend that came over and brought her meals when her family had tragedy. I was always a listening ear. I was always loyal to her. I introduced her to all of my other friends so that she would have a huge support system around her. And when we all found ourselves single, she finally left that abusive man for a short bit. She ended up going back to him, but we all found ourselves single. We all came together, and I introduced her to all my other friends so that she would have a support network. She instantly glommed on to those other friends, then tried to triangulate them against me, would always talk about me. And I didn't understand really what was happening because I was really naive to toxic people at that time. I had gotten really used to toxic people in my life, and I didn't really know when it was happening. But I know now that it was. She was talking about me. She was going behind my back and trying to get people against me. She was the puppeteer of the group to try to create drama amongst each other. She would sow division between me and my other friends. One time, several times, she would go out with one of my other friends who had a hard time holding her liquor, and she would take pictures of my friend in her own vomit and then go around and show it to the other friends and laugh at one of our mutual friends. This was the type of woman that she was, okay? And the reason that she would do these really conniving, aggressive things is because she was severely abused by her husband for 2 decades and never healed from it, never stood up to him, never tended to herself, never went to therapy really, never tried to heal from those wounds of abuse, and in fact ended up moving back in with him 6 months later and continuously getting more abused. So no matter how good of a friend I was to her, she was awful because she wanted to see me hurt and in pain like her. She had been subjugated and antagonized by aggressive men in her life. And so she will then look to the woman in her life, or the women who she deems less valuable than that abusive man, lower on the totem pole of hierarchy than the man that's abusing her. And she will then take out her hurt, pain, and trauma on other women because she deems those other women less than her. And she doesn't have the courage and the wherewithal to stand up to the man. So she will then turn that same abuse and those same aggressive tactics onto the women in her life. So be very careful of a woman who is being abused by a man, because you will more often than not see that she is a terrible friend. She is not there for you. She doesn't want to see you win. And in fact, will do things behind your back that are very violent emotionally to get at you, to hurt you, to bring you down to her oppressed level.